Good evening and welcome to the Whiskey Lovers Society with me, Gert Retief. Tonight we are traveling to the Highland of Scotland, the Highland region distilleries from Scotland, and picking my top 5 whiskies. Now, this is the take number 2. I have just finished recording this whole video and put it on my computer, tried to do some editing, and something went horribly wrong. The sound was terrible. I did get a new gimbal. I mounted the phone to the gimbal. I don't know what is the problem, but it didn't work. It sounded like this aliens talking in the background. So that was a little bit of a waste of time. Long story, and definitely not really looking forward to recording it again. And when I realized, well, in that case, I need to try a little bit more while I do the video. So a little bit of a win-win situation. So Highland whiskies from the Highland region of Scotland. If we look at some of the distilleries, I'm not going to mention all of them. So I will put up a little bit of a map so that you can see which distilleries I was looking at. Start from the north, we're looking at Wolfburn, Balblair, Dalmore, Glendronach, Dumbarton. I do like a good Dumbarton, especially the 15-year-old was nice. Ben Nevis, Ardnamurchan, Oban, Deanston, Glengoyne, Glentarrant, Blair Athol, Edrador. Oh, I love a good Edrador. And if you're into the sweet ones, go for the Edrador. We also have the Vettercan, Royal Lochnagar. I did a review on that one not so long ago. Glencadam, Ardmore, Wolfburn, Glendronach. Love them, hate them. There's a lot to be said, especially the older versions. Glenglassaugh, Glenmorangie. That's my go-to dram if I go to the airport in Istanbul. The lounge always have a Glenmorangie waiting for you, Kleinlich, and of course Old Portney. Did not mention all of them, but that is what I was looking at when I made this video. So I did already pour myself a wee dram, just in case I need something to freshen up the throat. Absolutely fantastic one. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on what is in the glass. So the first one that I want to talk about, Wolfburn batch number 155. It is bottled at 46% ABV. No age statement whiskey, but if you do a little bit of digging, you'll find out maybe 5 plus years old. So not a very old whiskey, but absolutely nice, fresh, drinkable whiskey. Matured in ex-bourbon cask and ex-port cask. Cost, I think it was about 70 euros for a bottle, so not extremely expensive. Well, a little bit expensive for me, but the taste is fantastic. Natural color, non-chill filter. So on the nose for the Wolfburn batch 155, light, sweet, fruity nose, apple cider, green apple, a little bit of a vanilla, and a little bit of a toffee note. Did not really get any port on the nose. There is a sweetness, but it did never scream out that is a port cask finish, but it is still a light, lovely sweetness. Very light on the alcohol, even at 46% ABV, and very well balanced between the sweetness and the alcohol on the nose. There's a little hint of a citrus note, a little bit of a pineapple note. Reminds me a little bit of a preserved pineapple or can of pineapple, that little bit of a syrupy note that pineapples were preserved in. Dried apricots, and right at the back you get a little bit of a dusty oaky note, quite pleasant. On the taste, of course, we need to drink as well. Well balanced, sweet, hot and spicy. Hint of a oak, a hint of a vanilla, hint of a toffee note, a little caramel note, and I also get a little bit of a dark chocolate note. It reminds me a little bit of a caramel block covered with dark chocolate, so you get a little bit of that oakiness, a little bit of a bitter note, and then you burst through that chocolate and you get to the lovely sweetness of the caramel. There's a hint of a fruit note coming out and a little bit of a apricot note in the end. I was definitely hooked on this one. I do have a couple of orders coming. I'm not sure how long it will take, but definitely something that I would recommend. The second one that I'm talking about, and this is the one that I have in the glass, and of course I'm talking about a whiskey that I was introduced, I think, about 2 years ago, and lovely guys from Glencadam, also part of Tom & Tell, the Angus Buckman distillery group. They have graciously sent me 2 years ago some samples so that I can taste it, do an online tasting with them. Fantastic guys, fantastic time with them, really interesting, interactive. They give you so much information. So if you get a chance maybe to go visit them in person, I would recommend to give it a try. So the 10-year-old is something that so many people has talked about. Online Scotch Whisky Awards, that in 2021, a big talking point. A lot of people love the 10-year-old. Now, I do like the 10-year-old, but I did like the 13-year-old a little bit better. The Highland single malt Scotch, 13 years old. You can see I do like them. This is bottle number 3 already. Batch number 3, limited edition. This is bottle number 4028 of 5,994, 46% ABVs. So they give you all the nice information. Until filtered, no color added, everything is on the bottle. So for me, that's ticking the boxes. If I go in for the nose, now I can warn you now, and be aware, if you like the light sweet whiskies, you like that little orchard in a glass, that apples and all those lovely summer notes, then this one is definitely going to be for you, and you are going to reach your pocket, and you're definitely going to love this one. So lovely light maltiness that comes out. It's a light fruity flavors, a little floral note. There's a hint of a lemon preserve, but there's not a more citrus sour note. It's more a sweet lemon preserve. There's an apple juice. It's very perfumey, vanilla. Just an overall lovely sweet whiskey. On the taste, cheers. The taste is for me just a lovely lightness. That sweet, a little bit of a spiciness. Just a warning, if you buy it, you open up a new bottle, it was a little bit more spicy for me. And as a level go down, the spiciness also went down a little bit, and it's made it so much nicer, especially 1/4 in. Oh, that was really fantastic. So now I don't want to finish the bottle. As you can see, little sips at a time, just to keep it going. There's a light lemon tart note on the taste, a little vanilla. Let me just try again. There's a little spice, a hint of a cinnamon, oily. There's a little bit of a creamy note, and a little bit of a vanilla ice cream note for me on the taste. And every time that I go back, it just gets better and better. A little bit of a green apple note, a little bit of a sweet Asian pear note coming out, and a little bit of a light caramel. Now, definitely a winner in my book. I'm going to have to start looking for another bottle soon, and got my stamp of approval. The next one on the list, and that's something that's very controversial nowadays. A lot of people are angry at this distillery. Of course, I'm talking about Glendronach. A lot of people have abandoned them. I will never buy a Glendronach in my life again. Unhappy people. Now, I had a couple of samples of them, the 21-year-old, the 18-year-old, the 15-year-old, the 12-year-old. Well, the 12-year-old was the first Glendronach that I bought. And I must admit, it was okay, but it's not something that shouted out for me that it was fantastic. In fact, it was a little bit on the oaky side. I did not enjoy that. And so I abandoned them also quite a long time ago. And one of the YouTubers, the whiskey friend, he was talking about his favorite whiskey and the whiskey that started his journey. And that was the Glendronach 15-year-old, the Revival series. And I thought to myself, okay, put my line in the water, caught one, and in the end, absolutely a fantastic one. I was really surprised. I was thinking 12 years was quite oaky, the 15 years are going to be much oakier. Was I wrong? So it is a single malt, of course, non-chill filtered, no color added, 46% ABV, Pedro Ximénez sherry cask and an Oloroso sherry cask maturation. Well, that's definitely ticking the boxes for me. So I was quite happy to buy this bottle, and I can tell you I was not disappointed. At that stage I was definitely chasing the sherry monsters, and this one did not disappoint. So if you have diabetes, stay away from this one. It is sweet on sweet and very sweet, and definitely that sherry monster came out on this one. Quite inviting. Christmas cake in a glass, raisins, dates, figs, a little bit of a glazed cherries, maybe a little bit of a maraschino cherry note, and that sweet syrupy of that maraschinos, a little minty, loads and loads of vanilla notes, old leather. It's like walking into an old leather shop, old leather boots, that little boot polish, that mixture in the air, quite lovely. On the taste, that 46% is definitely drinking quite high. You have this lovely, sweet, high ABV whiskey, oily, creamy, nice hot alcohol punch, again with that raisins, dates, figs, a little bit of a dark chocolate note, a little bit of a caramel note coming out. Definitely a sweet one, definitely a sherry monster for me, and very little oak. That was quite a big surprise for me. That almost zero oaky bitterness. Quite love that. The next one on my list is something that a lot of the reviewers on YouTube raved about. Roy, Ralphie, to name only the top ones for me. Even in America, something that was really enjoyed. And of course, I'm talking about the Deanston 12-year-old. And 46%, well, 46.3% ABV, natural color, non-chill filtered. All of those boxes that are being ticked. And I did like this one. I think I'm on bottle number 3 already. So quite an enjoyable one. Absolutely fantastic in a cocktail as well. This one matured in ex-bourbon. So on the taste on this one, oh, lovely stuff. Lovely, light honey, but it's not overly sweet. And sometimes you need to tone down the sweetness on some of the whiskies as well. A little bit on the floral side and a little bit of a freshly cut flowers, hint of a citrus note, and a little bit of a homemade lemonade. A little bit of an orange peel oil, hint of an apple pie, hint of a cinnamon. Absolutely fantastic. I would definitely recommend this one. On the taste, a little bit different on the taste. It's got a nice sweetness, spiciness, quite a short finish for me. A little bit of a pepper note, a little bit of a clove note. So there is a little bit of an oaky spiciness in this whiskey. It's a little bit aggressive at 46.4% ABV. That alcohol aggression is definitely there. Drinks a little bit higher, maybe a 48-50% ABV for me. But pour it in a glass, it mellows out quite fast when you are hit with a nice caramel vanilla note. Honeydew melons. Quite oaky. A little bit surprised on that oak level, but still well balanced. Great stuff. I do like this one. So definitely putting my stamp on this one as well. Now the next one that I have on the list, I was not sure if I'm going to keep it here, but I did do another tasting of it and I really like it. Now a lot of people are not going to be interested in it. A lot of people will scoff at the idea of paying a lot of money for a 40% ABV whiskey. Well, I think I'm with you on that one. But I had this opportunity to give it a taste, and I'm talking about the Dalmore Alexander III, 40% ABV, single malt whiskey, red wine cask, Madeira cask, export cask, and a couple of other casks that's put into the mix. So they tried to do something special, and I think they quite succeeded on. Especially for me, the price is a little bit on the crazy side. Can't remember exactly, but it was way above my price range for a 40% whiskey. But when you get to the taste of it, oh my word, it is really nice. I would have loved to try it at 46% ABV, just a little bit higher. I think they would have so much additional flavors coming out at a little bit of a higher ABV. But on the nose, old polished leather, it smells like a well-aged whiskey. Now for me, when you smell something, and I presume that's where the 40% ABV come in, if you have a high ABV whiskey and it's very young, you get more of that ethanol notes. In this one, low ABV, and it's just almost no alcohol on the nose. It's just this lovely sweetness that come out. Sweet, woody, sherry notes, almost no alcohol on the nose, vanilla, raisins, sultanas, dates, figs, you name them, they are in this glass. Red fruits, red apple, a little bit of a cinnamon note, feels very complex, feels very inviting, feels like something that you want to get more acquainted to it. Love the taste. Only problem that I do have with this one is a little bit light on the alcohol, and it does show that lightness. Sweet, woody, spicy notes. It does drink a little bit higher than the 40% ABV. It feels to me maybe 43, 45% ABV. So there is still a little bit of a hotness on the taste. A little oaky, a little bit of a dark chocolate, espresso tannin that does come out. Leather notes are definitely still there, and a little bit of a nutty flavors at the end. Something that I do like and appreciate. So a good one for me, and I would definitely recommend it. The last one on the list, Balblair 18, quite expensive. Single malt, 46% ABV, cost 132. I did do a review not so long ago. Oh, I like it. Maybe I like it a little bit too much, a little bit rich for me. I was fortunate enough to get a nice sample of it. So if you want to look, all of these videos that I'm talking about, I did the full review. So please go have a look after this video if you want more information. So the Balblair is matured in ex-bourbon cask and finished in first fill Spanish oak cask, natural color of course, and non-chill filtered. On the nose you have this lovely, funky, sweet sherry note, a little bit of a spicy, woody, oaky note. You get quite a lot of raisins. I was a little bit surprised also on the intensity of the alcohol. So it's quite a hot, spicy, peppery note that you get, and it feels a little bit younger than the 18-year-old. Loads of dried fruit, dark honey, red apples on the taste. Good thing to pour this one, put it in a glass, and then give him a little bit of time to settle down and get a little bit of that volatility out of the glass, and then after that it is just plain sailing fantastic whiskey. A little bit of a vanilla, a little bit of an orange zest note, absolutely fantastic on the nose. Well balanced and feels quite like a mature whiskey. On the taste, sweet, intense, spicy, big sherry notes. Again, on the taste, it did feel a bit younger than the 18 years old on the bottle. It feels like a 14, 15-year-old whiskey, and quite again surprised on the intensity on this one. Definitely a sherried whiskey, quite a lot of sherry influences on the taste, quite a lot of oaky tannins, a little bitter note, more like an espresso or Turkish coffee note. Not overly sweet, more on the spicy, peppery notes in the end. So definitely not a sherry monster, but I can tell you, a good investment. I love the stuff. So that is me on my 5+1 list that I love from the Highland. Let me know what you think. What other whiskies would you recommend as an alternative for me to try in the future? So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I see you next time. Cheers.